right? So if we're talking about zero visibility, we do not want to unhook this and leave it flat, okay? We want to grab it with both hands if we can, right? Follow back, grab the parachute, open up all the way, and go to the other side and do the same thing, right? All right, so now it's like this. So if we had to go the old school way of doing this is a leg up and coming around, we could, right? That's a way. That means the SCBA is locked into us, right? Nowadays, because we have our harness, we loosen everything up and we quite simply come underneath the legs, underneath, right? Here, we're gonna unhook this, we bring it through. Now our waist strap is in our harness, okay? That's step one of this, it does work. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our gem tar, we pull this up. This guy, Sean, come on down here. My helper's gonna be behind him. Always gotta have a guy at the head. We're gonna lift him up. While I'm doing the leg stuff, my helper's basically gonna run his hands down and he's gonna hit the parachute cords also, right? We're gonna extend those all the way. We're gonna take our gem tar hook, right? We're gonna open it up. We're gonna lock him down and we're gonna cinch this if we can, right? Basically what we did right now is cause this is a 3-point harness. This whole thing is gonna stay with you, all right? So if we had to just drag, me and Sean can grab one side of this and we can go, all right? All right, so as Sean's setting everything up with this thing is to make sure that the back of his head is pointing towards the exit where we wanna go, because that way we just scoop and go. Now what's the other thing we have on this that we can use? What else we have? Drag device, right?
Yeah.
Okay? Drag device is simple. If you weren't able to do this, which is fine, we get the gem tar around his shoulder straps, we take the drag, come on, John. We reach down, we take his drag device, grab his drag device, we have to wrap it around his right shoulder strap, okay? And then we go. Why do we wrap it around the right and not the left?
So it's this little air hose.
Low pressure hose, okay? And this basically right here is another 3-point harness and we can go, all right? So we have 3 different ways to think about it. And in the fire service, if you think to the 4th step, you're gonna forget everything. You can think 3 steps in advance. So it's outside the box, but you have a solution. Three solutions for one problem. So you should get the job done, right? All right, and that's just packaging. And this is the type of stuff, you just right now, you take your gloves, feel what it's like doing gloves on, right? Take your hood, put your hood over your eyes, do it in the dark, right? Then do it on air, when you have air, and try and move them 5 feet, all right? You gotta progress up to a standard where it comes like this, Because the bottom line is, in the volunteer service or career, the most important thing is that we go home, all right? And this is one way to guarantee that we have a really good chance of going home, if we're proficient in it. Whether we're going out of town doing it, but we gotta make sure we're here, because by the time mutual aid gets here, we don't know when they're coming, how they get here, or who is it. We don't know those guys. If I know that you 4 or you 6 here are gonna do this drill on a regular basis, solid. I know that you're gonna be at every fire, and I would have confidence knowing, God forbid something happens, I know that 2 of you are gonna go run through this wall and know how to get me out, because you drill on it all the time. And that's the most important thing. This is all about us. You know, we can put out fires, we can throw ladders, we can drive rigs, we can crash rigs. Ah. But this is the most important thing about our job, about what we do. Is we need to go home, all right? We gotta make sure we go home healthy and not broken. I mean, I'll gladly take a broken leg, you pull me out of the building, for sure. And you coming, all right? So this is just the basic part of it. This is gonna be a huge couple months coming down the road that I think I'm gonna use all you guys here to help us progress to it, all right? And do the packaging, all right? So now we have the packaging part done, okay? Now what do we gotta figure out? If we don't have any air on him, and we're bringing in a fast pack, okay? So the fast pack does what for us? What we call it the rip pack. What do we know about the rip pack?
Spare mask.
Spare mask? How many ways can we deliver air?
2.
What are they?
The universal air and then the mask itself.
Okay, we call it the UAC connection, okay? UAC connection is located where on the SCBA?
On the bottom.
On the bottom. And what are some indications of using it? what does that do when we use the UAC? What does that do with our air? It balances it, right? It takes what's in the full pack and it just equals it out what's in there now. A little time consuming, all right? Have you tried to actually hook it up with just your hand? And it's difficult to do just like this. Picture trying to do it in pitch black, hard. There's reasons, and this is not, it's not written down, you have to do it this way all the time, or it has to be this way. It's whichever way is comfortable. For me, and what I've done and how I experience it, I'm not going to the UAC connection unless I'm dealing with a prolonged operation where the life-threatening injury is being taken care of, whether it's in a collapse, and we're just kind of going in, hitting it, just put another 30 pounds in, and then walking away again. If I'm dealing with quick air, get out, I'm going with the regulator all the time because the regulator will always work off of that. If we come upon a UAC and the dust cover's off, can't use it. If we come upon a UAC, we take the dust cover off, it gets filled with debris, can't use it, okay? That's a 100% written down, you cannot use it when it's compromised like that. So, the low pressure hose, will work. That regulator is just like exactly the same thing we use. And for the most part, if his face piece isn't damaged, we're just going regulator to regulator, okay? Which is kind of an easy thing to do, even with your eyes closed. So grab the pack. Things about turning it on. Some people talk about turning on in the street. Some people about turning it on when we get inside, we find a victim, okay? What are some ways thinking about turning it on the street? What do you think is a problem? What can be a problem if you turn it on the street? Few of them, right? You turn it on, you don't hear the purge valve could be open a little bit, cracked, so it's pissing air, okay? The neck of the bottle, you should check anyway, could be loose, all right? Plus, as we enter a building, it's not like we're entering a building like it's big like this. We're not gonna enter a building probably through the front door. We're gonna go through a window, we're gonna go through a cellar stairs, we might go through a second floor window, but the bottom line is we're gonna bang this thing around a little bit. And if you take our regulators off of this rig and you bang the regulator while it's under pressure, it's just gonna open. And it's going to start pissing air, right? And that could happen to this. But if you choose not to turn it on until you get to the victim, you better be proficient in turning this thing on. As easy as it sounds, it's not easy when your heart's going a million miles per hour and there's radio traffic and you found a down firefighter. You have to make sure you're very proficient in understanding it. You got to grab that knob and go counterclockwise to open it up, okay? So that's one of the things, this is all about practicing with things. This is things you gotta think about. I'm a doom and gloom guy. I think about how things can go wrong. I gotta eliminate them before I get there. So for me, I eliminate that by losing air, by turning it on when I get to my victim. That's my way of doing it. I'm not saying it's your way of doing it, but it's just considerations about doing things, all right? All right, so we're just gonna do something basic here is we get there, down firefighter, conditions are good enough for us, packaged up, ready to go, we're gonna put him on air, all right? His face piece would be on, which we don't have right now, but it doesn't matter. It's all good. So Sean, get behind me again. So if you have the top and the head part of the down firefighter like this, all right? Your job is to hand the front guy everything, all right? So as I'm hitting here searching, I'm gonna find his face piece. I take out his regulator, okay? But I have his face piece, all right? Grab that one. This will do. All right, so I have his face piece on. Sean has him up. Sean's job now is he takes the first pack, he activates everything, and he's gonna have the low pressure hose. Okay? All right, he's gonna have the low pressure hose. How do you want him to hand this thing? Eyes closed, how would you want him to hand this thing?
The first valve up.
Grab it, give it to me. Okay. You have monster hand, so this is what you do. So what you would do, you're gonna palm this thing, right? And as you're facing me, you're gonna have the purge up to me. Okay. So put it up to me. Here you go, palm it, put it up to me. And this is all about communication. You say, hey Kev, I gotta go to his shoulder. So he'll be down his shoulder. I will find him. He's gonna hand this thing to me, just like this, right? No matter what. Purge is up, because I know when I go in, I'm gonna find the face piece. I'm gonna put it in. It's quarter turn. Boom. All right. If you're just sitting behind, you just hand it to me like this. Now I gotta mess around and try and find a purge. Your job as a front guy is to set it all up for me. So all I gotta do is grab it with the purge up. And you know we go in and it's quarter turn. All right? It's quite simple. That's gonna be the job of the front guy. Then when we're done with the new bags now, we're gonna clip this bag to a down firefighter and we're gonna drag and go. All right? You don't have to worry about it bouncing around anymore, nothing. So 2 people can grab and go. It's not gonna get stuck on corners. It's not gonna pull off his face, okay? On this itself is a carabiner, more or less. This has come across and helped out tremendously. When they first come out, they didn't have this. So what we're gonna do with this, we're gonna try and clip it to his gear, or clip it to a pack, or whatever the case may be. So that way, when it does move, it won't pull his face piece off his head. All right, this was something new, kind of came up, I don't know, 11 years ago, I think. Can't say I had anything to do with it, but I might have. But yeah, that's another thing that we gotta clip on. So when we start going over this, and we're gonna be precisely doing everything hands-on the whole time, to be very proficient in it. So 1 week, 1 drill, 1 company drill, 1 department drill, it could be simply, listen, we're just gonna just package. Let's just package and go 10 feet and see what it's like. And then we're gonna start going on air, and we're gonna start handing talking transmissions and everything else, all right? So it's, again, it's just gonna be a quite simple thing. So when we talked about air, right? This was disconnected in there, all right? What do we know about this fitting here? It's kind of like the buddy, right? Something that we really don't want to share air, but it's like the buddy breathing. And then on a lot of them, the UAC, there's a Schrader connection, there's a Hansen connection, where it will be a disconnect of the low pressure hose, which we don't have here, which would be the same thing that this would have with this replacing it. But we're going to go automatic, low pressure with the regulator, to be down Firefighter for now. All right. One of the cool things with the new packs now is that there are actually gauges on here. All right. When the packs first came out, it didn't have this gauge. You actually had to stare down the bottom. Like you're not to the bottom, kind of thing, yeah. So we do have this here, so we know how much air they're on. And again, that's going to be monitored on the way out, but it will be a fast removal. Once we package up like this, we're gone, right? So that's as quick in a nutshell as I could put it, as far as how we're going to go about doing our policies moving forward. Nothing's going to be rewritten as far as what our jobs is and what tools we're going to carry in there, but however, we will be going over packaging over the next couple months, for sure, all right? And I like the offices to for sure start bringing this mannequin around. We have 2 more in there. We have to dress them. It's a good hands-on drill, just packaging it. Don't worry about the fast pack yet. We can do that as a department. But just do packaging as a company level. It's a pretty good drill, pretty good hands-on drill. And it's a dummy, so we don't hurt ourselves. So we'll be doing upstairs, downstairs. We'll be going through holes. We'll be going out window. We'll be going up ladders. Whole thing, whole gamut. All right. You can stop that.